I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network, where tonight it will be the stars and cars of the iRacing Silver Crown Cup Official Series, coming to you from Southern National Motorsports Park. My name is Chris Graham, joined in the booth, as always, by Mr. Patrick Byrne. And I tell you what, Bizzle, we had a pretty darn good show last week to kick the season off. I think we're going to get more of the same here at Southern National.
Yeah, Southern National is a fantastic track, especially in these beasts. It is going to be an absolute barn burner tonight. These cars are going to be tough to drive, and they got fenders on the front, so I think we're going to see a little bit of contact between the drivers.
Yeah, we may use them up a little bit here as we pick up the number 1 of Tracy Petter, and I'll tell you what, outstanding field here tonight. 40-15 for the strength of field. Brandon Buckberger racing a little bit injured, but racing to the top of the charts here in qualifying at a 12.729. Jason Steinhurst moves in second quick. Tracy Petter, new quick time, 12.628, 12.628. Let's pick up Derek Love working his second qualification lap. D-Love going to be third quick, only 2,000ths off of Buckberger for second. Lap number 2 for Derek Love will be just a tick slower, actually. A little bit surprising there as we'll pick up Josh Batista now rolling out onto the racetrack in the Ream number 20 machine. He will be the 7 on your timing and scoring tower there on the upper left-hand corner. Got to say a big thank you to everybody tuned in here on YouTube this evening. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us, and drop us the comments. Let us know what you're thinking, where you're watching from. Petter still at the top of the board. Buckberger, a even 1/10 of a second back. D-Love, James Watson, Thomas Lewandowski, the top 5. Just like that, though, Jeffrey Stanton going to move up into the 4th position. Stanton timing in with a lap time of 12.763. Second lap for Josh Batista will be 6th quick, 12.767 seconds. Andrew Hayes on the racetrack. A little bit of Virginia Tech-ish color scheme on that number 10 machine. Looking good out there on the speedway. He completes his qualification run, and, well, he's going to be the last guy to get a lap in the qualifying session. Let's take a look who we have that we can maybe take a look at. Let's see. Yeah, we can bring this camera up. We'll show you tonight's starting grid for the 100 lapper here at Southern National Motorsports Park. RaceEPI.com Alpine Stars on the side of the number 1 for Tracy Petter. He will start on the pole with a lap time of 12.629 seconds. Starting to the outside, an even 10th back, the unbranded number 4 of Brandon Buckberger. Row number 2 will be the Street Side Classics number 2 of Derek Love. Lining up alongside the Big Evil Designs, Napa Auto Parts, Rockwell, North Carolina, number 94, Jeffrey Stanton. Stanton will carry the number 5 on timing and scoring here this evening. The car is the number 39. Timing and scoring says it's the 6th. That one belongs to James Watson, the Team Watson Racing Setups National Racing Network. Entry, about a 10th and a half, almost a 10th and a half back. Josh Batista in the Ream, number 20, will line up to his outside. Batista will carry that number 7 here this evening. Row number 4, the Team Watson Racing Setup Spartan Sports number 3 of Thomas Lewandowski, lining up alongside of the number 8 of Jake Brissett. Row number 5, the number 9 of Brian Elmore, alongside of the 14 of Jason Steinhurst. Both of those cars sitting about a quarter of a second back here in qualifications. The 10 of Andrew Hayes will line up 11th alongside the number 13 of Laura Gerhardt in position number 12 this evening. Kibu on the side of Gerhardt's number 13 machine. And on the final row tonight will be Rick Thompson in the Spotify number 11. And alongside will be the number 12 of Brian Conover. Field coming to the green. Green flag's in the air. We are underway here at Southern National. Oh, we got one around. It's Derek Love spinning down pit lane. Looks like we're going to stay green.
Spinning down pit lane. Yeah, that's not going to bring out the yellow. So unfortunately has to go through and hopefully doesn't get a penalty from that one.
Big trouble for Derek Love early in this race. Let's take a look at it on the NRN Instant Replay. See what happened here. A little bit of contact with Jeffrey Stanton. James Watson got a little bit as well. Oh, man, we got a bunch of cars playing bumper cars down the backstretch. But I'll tell you what, Bizzle, this absolutely changes the complexion of this race. Because now it's going to be Tracy Petter all alone, basically alone out front. Brandon Buckberger, the only car that's going to be close. James Watson in third, 2.3 seconds back. Derek Love already in danger of going a lap down.
Yeah, Derek Love is going to have to try and fight and hold on for as long as possible and hope we get a caution to put him back. Basically at the tail end of the lead lap. Because if you go a lap down here, I don't believe there's a lucky dog in the Silver Crowns.
No, I don't think there's a lucky dog, and he would not get a wave around because nobody's going to pit. Not able to take tires. That is not the way you want to start the race out if you're Derek Love.
And Petter already looking to the inside, so the leaders are there on the back end of Derek Love's car.
Yeah, so there's the caution flag that D. Love needed. Trouble on the racetrack looks like for Jake Brissett. Let's take a look at the instant replay here and see if we can see what happened. Let's take a look. Oh, looks like Brissett got turned around down almost into the infield there. Let's take another look. Car already with some damage. Just got it looped up.
Looped it on his own. Oh, man.
Drove it over the road,
Victory
separating
lane.
pit wall. Did he land in his pit box, though? Yes,
Almost.
he did. Almost landed it in the pit box. It's not the way you want the night to go.
But at least it's convenient for the team.
That is exactly right. Just kind of had to do one more tip over. The car would land on all fours in the pit box. But unfortunately, looks like Jake Brissett will be out of this race here tonight. Now, the guy who was easily the biggest beneficiary of that caution, though, right here, the two of Derek Love. Not going to be able to pit for any damage repair or anything. The car doesn't look too bad. So at this point now, D-Love's just going to have about 88 laps or so, 89 laps to try to work himself back up to the front of the field. Lights already out on the iRacing safety car. Going to be very quick caution because we do not have anybody that's one lap down. So Tracy Petter very quickly back to the loud pedal here on lap number 13. We are once again green. Buckberger holding on to second. Watson, Batista, Lewandowski, your top five. You kind of called it a little bit here, bud. I think we may see the bumper used up. And, well, if we take a look at James Watson, yeah, the front end of that car a little bit mangled up. And even with, I mean, this place has 17 degrees of banking, so it's not exactly a flat track. But aero is not going to be your biggest of concerns either.
No, I think the only car that aero mattered here was the IR01 before they gave it the oval package. I think my lap record here in that thing was a 6.9, a very nice lap.
Yes.
which is twice as fast as we're running here. But other than that, I don't think you need aero here.
One of the
Southern National.
all-time fastest laps in terms of time ever set on the iRacing platform.
Yeah, I think my lap was like 4th or 5th quick, which the world record was like 6.5 seconds, which just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's kind of silly. Sign on checking in, giving us a minute ago here, the Josh Batista appreciation post. Might not win the race, but might win the gold in the pommel horse. Yes. That was gymnastics of the most bolt-on order there. Keeping our eye here on Derek Love. He's already up to the 10th position, has Andrew Hayes and Jason Steinhurst just ahead. He's able to clear Hayes. Now he's going to go to work on Steinhurst. Battle for the lead still pretty tight, but Tracy Petter holding about a 10th and a half, and the lead's growing out to about 2/10 here. So we're going to stay right with this fight as Love ducks inside of Steinhurst into one. Steinhurst thought about the crossover, a little bit of a bobble on corner exit. He's got to tuck back in line, put D-Love up to position number 8.
Derek Love is a very intimidating driver to have behind you. He is just so good at everything he does, and especially here in the Silver Crowns, where he has that big number 2 on that car, meaning he's the second highest rated driver in this field. It's not likely you're going to keep him behind you.
Yeah, and actually taking a look here, James Watson losing a couple of spots to both Josh Batista and Thomas Lewandowski. So Watson going to fall back to 5th. Jeffrey Stanton running in the 6th position. He's going to be almost a second back of Watson. So 39 machine should be okay position-wise. Already 25 laps are in the books. We are working lap number 26. Sign-on says automotive gymnastics. Maybe is... How cool would it be if that was the motorsports that they brought to the Olympics? They're talking about bringing auto racing to the Olympics when they come to LA. Screw the silly, we're going to run glorified go-karts and side-by-sides. Let's do automotive gymnastics.
Yeah, they used to do that in LA at the X Games.
Yeah. Let's just jump silly cars off of ridiculously large ramps and see who.
How many backflips can we see a Ford Fiesta do?
Oh, that would be awesome.
Pole vaulting Crown Vics. I mean, we need to get Cletus McFarland in on this one. Let's have a pole vault competition for Crown Vics.
God, that would be so incredibly dangerous. You just have to drop the drive shaft right off the back of it. Just boom.
That's why the Crown Vics have the speed governor at 140 miles an hour. It's because just above that, the 2-piece drive shaft breaks in half and pole vaults the car.
Oh, it would be awesome. Picking up your race leader here briefly, Tracy Petter holding off Brandon Buckberger. Stanton and Watson trading position number 5 back and forth. What other automotive gymnastics should we do? I like the pole vaulting Crown Vics. Let us know in the comments.
What's some other gymnastics sports? There's the... What's the one where they throw the big thing? We can get like a truck to do donuts and then like just release a disc and see how far it gets thrown.
The discus or the shot
yes.
put?
Why don't we just bring jousting back too?
Automotive jousting.
Yes.
What car would we use for that? Because obviously, if you use anything of decent size, it's basically just headshots, which is not good.
Reliant Robin. It only has 3 wheels, so if you get a good hit, you're going to flip it over.
Oh, what is it, the slingshot? It's the side-by-side that only has 3 wheels?
Those could work too. Why don't we get slingshot, the little Tobias slingshot things?
Oh, God.
Those things can be kind of fun to pole vault through.
No, that's what we had. Those are
Oh, yeah.
And the speedsters. Well, sounds like we got somebody bouncing off the walls here somewhere. Not really a surprise, though, but already approaching the halfway point.
Here's an idea. You know those big floaty things people put in the lake and they jump off the diving board and it launches the other person off the other end of the floaty?
Yeah.
We put a slingshot at one end and we go back to the original competition where we were jumping cars off large ramps. So we jump a large car onto the floaty thing and see how high we can send the slingshot into the air.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Slingshots, by the way, are basically Northeast dirt modifieds on go-kart frames, Northeast dirt modified bodies on glorified go-kart frames with what amounts to a Briggs & Stratton motor.
Yeah, it's a Briggs V-twin. They run them on alcohol. They make about 40 horsepower. Some tracks they're great, some tracks they're not. They flip over a bunch.
That's the main selling point, is we can jump them. It's kind of the go-karting version of street stocks. Street stocks line them up.
Yep.
Now, no surprise here, Bizzle. You already approaching the halfway point in this race, and this is kind of what we expected. A long green flag run. I didn't expect us to see a caution basically on lap 2. At this point now, the field has started to settle in, and you kind of know where you are on pace. I mean, yes, you can pass here. We've seen that tonight. But you also kind of end up where you should be on outright pace pretty quickly, too.
Yeah, but you have a guy like Derek Love that's still way back in the field in 7th. I have a feeling he's faster than a couple of these guys in front of him, so you're going to have some action going on there. Some people are going to start burning their tires up. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another caution here tonight.
Yeah, it would not be a surprise, and quite frankly, the weather conditions may be playing into this a little bit as well. 86-degree ambient temperature, 93-degree track temperature. This place is pretty hot tonight. I'll say fairly hot. It's not any of the crazy stuff that we've seen, but it's, I would say, maybe not totally in the wheelhouse, or is this kind of where these guys want to be temperature-wise?
93-degree track temp, especially for nighttime, is kind of warm. But for Southern National, I guess that's kind of cool, so I don't know. It definitely looks like it's a sticky track. It doesn't look like these guys are sliding all over the place.
Yeah, they're able to kind of run all that same groove towards the bottom of the racetrack, and the battle for the lead is really starting to become a battle for second here, as Josh Batista has gained ground on Brandon Buckberger. Batista coming around Jason Steinhurst through 3 and 4. That number 20 machine may be the quickest car on the racetrack right now.
Yeah, and if that's the case, all he's got to do is run down Brandon Buckberger, and all of a sudden you have a side-by-side battle. That'll bring Lewandowski right back into this fight as well. The only downside of that, though, is it's going to allow Tracy Petter to run away even further from these guys.
Well, yeah, sort of, I'm going to say, because if we, let me switch my timing and scoring monitor over here. Andrew Hayes is the next car to go a lap down. He runs in 9th. The next 2 cars ahead of Tracy Petter are Brian Elmore and Derek Love. They're not exactly guys that are going to be easy to get around, so we could see this start to close in pretty quickly, too.
Yeah, with about 20 laps to go, this could really turn into a very close fight, 3-way battle, possibly even a 4-way battle for the lead. Not if Batista keeps smacking the wall like that.
I was just going to say, although this is, again, we talked about it, it's a short track. Aero doesn't really matter. It's not like you have a ton of aero to begin with. And quite frankly, a little scrape of the wall is almost the fastest way you have to run around here.
Yeah, but you don't want to knock any of the wheels out of alignment.
That's true. That does happen really quickly over these last couple of updates. We saw Andrew Hayes getting up and out of the way for the race leader. Does the same for second place Brandon Buckberger.
It's not like this is a fixed setup series where, hey, you could hit the wall and you're going to put the car in a better alignment, it's going to turn better, and you're going to go faster. This is an open setup series, and especially in top split, all these guys have these cars dialed in perfectly. Anything you're going to do with hitting the wall, you're taking it out of good alignment.
Seeing Batista start to close in here. Not surprised that we're going to see the 20 make the gap up, but especially with a guy like Brandon Buckberger, there is a huge difference between getting to somebody and passing them. I mean, when they were talking in the pre-race about the fact that Brandon feels like he has beef with about half the field, half a cow with Derek Love. He's not going to make life easy for anybody.
No, and he really wants a win. Like, really, really bad. It almost seems like he's really, really, really good at finishing second, but he's not satisfied with finishing second. Frankly, I don't know if he'd even be satisfied with winning, but that's one thing we'll have to wait and see, and wait for him to get a win to see what he thinks about it.
Yeah, he is definitely, I'm confident in saying, the Kyle Busch of the Silvercrest. Anything but a win is unacceptable to him. And that's not necessarily the worst attitude for a driver to have, because you can parlay that into pushing yourself and trying to make those last tenths, those last whatever it is that you need. Unfortunately, though, sometimes mentally it can also get the best of you.
Yeah, it can be very draining with that mentality. And all of a sudden, you know, where you might have a driver who's usually finishing towards the back of the pack, and they get a second place finish, and all of a sudden they have a run of huge momentum. It builds their confidence, and they're ready to go and do a ton of practice. You finish second, and you keep telling yourself, you suck, you suck, you suck. You're not going to want to go out there and practice. You're not going to want to go out there and find every last thousandth of a second you can, and it could end up in your results slipping and slipping, because that second that you're saying you suck turns into a fourth, and you feel even worse for that, and it drops down to a 10th, and you quit doing good at all.
Yeah, this could be, quite frankly, a very big night for Brandon Buckberger from a points standpoint. Derek Love entered the night as the championship leader 1 week in with 193 points. Buckberger sitting on 182 in second. With the issues that D-Love had, this could potentially become a drop week that D-Love's already using on week 2, and Buckberger has potentially 2 podium finishes to his name. That's the kind of consistency that we saw out of Thomas Lewandowski a season ago, and that's how he was able to win himself a championship.
Yeah, just going out there, being consistent, just finishing up front all the time. You don't have to win every week, but you do have to get up there and be consistently good.
Going on board here with Josh Batista on the gyro cam. You'll see it do the little pitch as they get into the corner here. And the gap is closing. It is sitting right about 1 second right now as we are down to 23 laps to go. This race could have less than 5 minutes remaining if we don't get a caution flag. The entire server would be less than a half hour, which is, quite frankly, pretty crazy. Take a look out the rear of this race car. You see Brandon Buckberger. Well, I was going to say starting to fade off into the distance. Buckberger really drives it in deep on corner entry. Makes up a lot of ground, but Batista able to open things up. Back out the front. Still seeing that gap holding about 1 second to your race leader. So we haven't done one of these in a little bit here. Let's go ahead, turn it up, crank it up, get the sound out. God, I love the sound of those 358 motors. Just so loud and throaty.
We had one of those at work today on the dyno, so I couldn't hear the radio today, but I did hear a 358 just absolutely screaming at 9,000 RPM all day.
That's beautiful. Race leader starting to work his way through a little bit more lap traffic here. That's coming up on the 13 of Laura Gerhardt. Gerhardt moves up and out of the way. It's going to keep the gap right about 1 second. No advantage for the 20 of Josh Batista as we're now inside with 15 to go.
Our 358 was for a mud turtle though, so not nearly as cool as a Silver Crown.
Well, the Mud Turtles just coming off one of their biggest races of the year, the Freedom 76er. Everybody getting ready. Well, I guess the Freedom 38 for the sportsman cars, the 358s. But actually, Grandview is a NASCAR sanctioned track, so I guess they would run the 358s for the 76er. Either way, doesn't matter. Everybody getting ready for Super Dirt Week up at the Oswego Speedway in New York, coming up in just a few weeks.
Yeah, this one was being built. I believe there's a 150 lapper either in Middletown or Orange County that they were going to go run. Derek Love moves out of the way for Tracy Petter with only 10 laps to go. I guess there's no reason to keep fighting for it.
No, at this point, the cause is lost. Tracy Petter has been blisteringly quick tonight. Has up to the 7th position, 1 lap down here with 8 laps to go at Southern National. 8 laps to go and potentially less than 2 minutes of racing remaining in this one. Taking a look, some of the other gaps we have, let's see. James Watson closing in on Thomas Lewandowski. He's going to make the dive inside into turn number 1. This is the battle for 4th and 5th. If there's a problem at the front of the field, it could turn into a podium position.
Two teammates fighting side by side.
Side by side and not giving an inch. This is fantastic to watch.
The way it should be.
Yeah, I agree with you. Oh, that was a huge twitch for Lewandowski off of 4. Down to 3 to go, and Batista is closing in ever so slightly on Buckberger. It's now down to about 1/3 of a second, but we'll stay with this one for another, well, we'll hold this one to the start-finish line because your race leader is down to 2 laps to go. Tracy Petter leading every lap thus far tonight. Already into turns 3 and 4. Under the twin checkers, and Tracy Petter gets the win at Southern National. Buckberger comes home 2nd, Batista 3rd. Looks like Watson's going to hold off Lewandowski for 4th. Coming home 6th and 1 lap down is Jeffrey Stanton. Absolutely crazy the kind of beating that Tracy Petter put on the field here this evening, and he's already got the car stopped, parked, he's out of here. That's how you do it. Whip everybody's ass, park the car, get out, and say, I'm going home.
I'm going to go home, maybe crack open a beer, sit down, watch the Browns game.
Oh, poor Nick Chubb. Good luck, buddy. If you haven't seen the clip, don't. But Nick Chubb getting a pretty severe leg injury tonight in the Browns game.
Yeah, it was not good.
Grotesque is probably a pretty good word for it. But let's take a look at your race results. Tracy Petter by 2.5 seconds over Brandon Buckberger. Josh Batista rounds out the podium In third, James Watson and Thomas Lewandowski complete the top 5. Sixth place, Jeffrey Stanton, just barely finishing on the lead lap, 10.7 seconds back of your race leader. Derek Lowe of the first car, 1 lap down in 7th. Brian Elmore, Brian Conover, and Andrew Hayes round out your top 10. Jason Steinhurst, Laura Gerhardt, Rick Thompson Jr., and Jake Brissett round out the field. Brissett taking easily the biggest iRating hit of the night, losing 76 iRating points in this one. That hurts going out early. Josh Batista picking up 71. He is your big iRating gainer on the night. And Brian Conover picks up the Hard Charger Award. He will finish in the 9th position. Let's bring in our race winner here tonight, Mr. Tracy Petter. And man, I'll tell you what, Tracy, that car was pretty darn spectacular tonight. Brandon did not let you go early, and quite frankly, you two had a pretty decent battle there for most of this race.
Yeah, he was really giving it to me. For a while, I thought he was going to get by me, and I might not have anything for him, but he must have pushed too hard early and started getting tight or something.
Yeah, it seemed like that was one of the issues you guys were starting to run into late, because it seemed like everybody was making some contact with the outside wall. Was the car starting to get really tight as the race went on?
It would start to get a little tight on entry, then it would get really loose off, so I had to back it down a decent bit towards the end.
Well, I'll tell you what, congratulations on the win here tonight. It was a pretty darn good show you put on, leading all 100 laps. Congratulations on that one. And before we let you go, make sure you do all the big sponsor plugs and thank yous here too.
I want to shout out to the Hutter Engines. Thanks for the horsepower. And thanks to you guys for streaming this, as always.
Well, very cool. Thank you much, brother. We appreciate you coming to hang out here with us. And now let's bring in our runner-up finisher tonight here, Mr. Brandon Buckberger. And I'll tell you what, Brandon, it looked like the car was really good early on. Tracy seemed to think you might have been getting tight a little bit as the show went on. Was that what you were feeling behind the wheel?
No, I'm racing with broken ribs right now, so I'm hurting.
Oh, that is an incredible performance. I know you said you were hurting before the race. I'm not going to ask what happened, but I say this with the nicest intentions possible. What inspires you to get into a race car tonight with broken ribs? It's a painful injury to begin with.
Yeah. They're bruised, not broken, sorry.
Oh, okay.
But they feel like they're broken. Yeah, But no, Southern National is one of my favorite tracks. It reminds me of one of my hometown tracks, Slinger, and I'm good here, but another second place, so whatever.
You know what? Another second place, and I'm going to keep harping this because it's going to click eventually. It was a great points night for you. Obviously, we're not to the drop weeks and stuff yet, but these kind of week after week podiums, that's how you win a championship in this series.
I really don't care about points, man. I've never seen a Silver Crown championship without a winner, and I have not been able to get a win in 3 seasons now. So you got to get a win, obviously, because Thomas is going to be real strong here next few weeks. He'll start getting hot, and, you're going to have to get some wins here to get something. I'm not worried about these points.
Well, I do agree with you on that one. It was you keep running up front, the wins are going to come, that's for sure. But congratulations on the runner-up finish tonight here, and any sponsor plugs or thank yous you would like to get in?
Nope.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us up here in the booth for a minute. And now let's bring in our third place finisher.
You got an elephant. I got space. Send me smoke signals. You got weed?
I forgot to turn that shit off. Sorry.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes.
It's fantastic.
You have to leave that on. Every time we bring you into the booth, it needs to scream that. Josh Batista, our third place finisher here tonight. Talk us through the night, man, because the show was good. Well, you're already starting the interview off with a bang, too. But, man alive, that car looked like an absolute rocket ship out there.
Absolutely, it was a rocket ship until about 20 to go there when I pretty much roasted the dang tires. Other than that, that lap 1 incident was also wild. I don't even know what happened. I don't know how we all saved it, but we saved it. And other than that, yeah, the car was, felt pretty good all race. I enjoyed that race. It was fun racing.
Yeah, well, we're going to get to do more of it next week, too, I think, because we head off to North Wilkesboro Speedway. A little bit different in terms of configuration from Southern National, but let's get your opinion on it. Do you think we're going to see a kind of similar style of racing?
I think you'll probably see more multi-groove there, if anything. I won't be around next week or the next 2 weeks. I'm going on vacation, so hopefully the racing next week's fire, because North Wilkesboro is an amazing track. It always is. It's always good racing there. So,
well, let's see. Then you come back to IRP, which is its own beast altogether. But, man, congratulations on it. This was a really good night in terms of the points for you. Congratulations on the podium. Before we let you go, though, make sure you do all the sponsor plugs and thank yous here, too.
I gotta thank Reem being on the car, Jeffrey for painting the car, you guys for putting on the broadcast, and everybody watching.
All right, brother. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here for a minute or two. And, man, I'll tell you what, Bizzle, this was not the show I expected to get, but that lap 1 incident kind of set the tone because it kind of spun everybody around, split the field up in a big way, and then from there it was kind of just run until we got the caution.
Yeah, these guys were pretty much on fire, battling the entire night. A lot of single file action, but great battles towards the end between Watson, Lewandowski, and frankly, it was just kind of everyone playing cat and mouse with each other. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Sign on checking in. He left it in. Yeah, he did. There's actually other jokes to make there, but I'm not going to make them on the air. God almighty. Yes, thank you, Josh Batista, for the laugh. I needed that one at the end of this show. Man alive. What a great weekend of racing. Fantastic show last weekend out of the ASA Stars Tour at Toledo Speedway. Drama-filled race that was absolutely incredible. That will air next Monday or Tuesday on MAV TV. Make sure you DVR that one so you can watch it when you're done watching our shows. Coming up the rest of this week, it will be the TNT Shock Series heading off to the Milwaukee Mile. That will come up tomorrow night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Their second of 10 rounds in their championship. Following it up on Wednesday, the Sim Racers Club heading off to Dover Motor Speedway. You'll be able to catch that one 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time Wednesday evening. And we round out the week on Thursday with the U.S. Open Wheel Indy Pro 2000, the C-Class cars, coming to you from Watkins Glen. Always an incredible show at the Glen. Really looking forward to that one. Man, we just have a ton of racing going on here. Looking forward. Ooh, excuse me. Coming up.
Sound like me now.
Yeah, we both kind of sound and feel terrible at the moment. But coming up first weekend in October, you won't want to miss it. The INEX Legends Cars Road Course Championships from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. They're running the full road course with the Turn 5 bowl and all. It is going to be an absolutely incredible show. A couple of our NRN guys will be working that one on crew. Make sure you keep an eye out. We will post where you can see that one as well. But, with that, time for us to get the heck on out of here. Bizzle, thank you very much for coming out tonight. I know you are not feeling the greatest, but appreciate the Michael Jordan flu game effort from you here, brother. And with that, for everybody else here at NRN, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us, and we will talk to you all tomorrow night for TNT Shock. Until then, have a great night, everybody.